call the regular meeting of the Port of Centralia to order at 3 p.m. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Everybody rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag public for which it stands, one nation, all with liberty and justice. Introduction.
Commissioner Kyle Markstrom.
Commissioner Allen.
Commissioner Peter Lamont.
Amy River, board staff.
Thank you. We will open a public hearing for the Industrial Development District number 1.
Thank you, commissioners. I've provided an aerial map that shows the location of the property. The property address is 3621 North Park Drive. It's a 1-acre parcel between the Postal Service and Rikers Meat Distribution. The purpose of the public hearing is to receive any public comments for or against the sale of this piece of property.
Do we want to read? Do we want to read the notice for this? Or you basically just gave that?
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I just wanted to inform the commissioners that the notice was posted according to the RCW. It was posted in the Chronicle at the piece of property, and then the 2 different post offices and the port office as required by the RCW.
Right. Okay.
So now it's really just to receive public testimony for or against the sale of this piece of property.
Okay. At this time, we would receive public testimony pursuant to the purchase of the piece of property at 3621 North Park Drive. That's over a block. There's a couple of pieces of property that built up. We have one bare piece of property there. Does anybody have any question statement? Ms. Vanovich.
It's kind of hard to make a public comment when we don't know who it's being sold to and for what. Just that you're gonna sell this piece of property that I don't know what it's for, so I know about other people, but I can't.
This is the first step in the process, allowing the port to consider to begin negotiations with a potential customer.
So nobody in particular.
Not yet, no.
Thing.
Is there anything else? Seeing now closed public testimony. Should we go with a motion to accept it?
No.
Just
Yep.
okay. Okay. Public testimony is closed, and we will close the hearing for the Industrial Development District. Yeah. Next, approval of the agenda for the March 18th meeting. In motion.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the agenda of March 18th regular meeting. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it, 3-0. Next, we move to good of the order and public comment. So we have, there it is. Okay, Senator Odegaard, would you like to?
Thank you. Mr. President, members of the commission. It's a suggestion. I was hoping that the new regime that maybe we wouldn't have this language about remote attendees will not have the ability to provide oral public comment. Needs to submit public comment before 2 o'clock the meeting day. I was hoping that the phone line and I know that's not Zoom, I can't think of the name, but they substituted Zoom. What's that called? Something?
WebEx.
WebEx. That people will be able to do WebEx or on the phone, make public comment or ask questions. That's the suggestion. Thank you.
You. And we have Cynthia, please, Cynthia Munn.
Thank you, and I do apologize. I thought I had, Ally, you probably, if you're talking to the email you guys received, that is the current. But I will go through a few things real quick. Zipley Fiber was going to do their ribbon cutting this Friday. They have postponed it, and they're probably going to reconfigure it. When we find out when that is, we'll let everybody know. And then the United Learning Center is putting together their whole ribbon cutting and committee that's actually working on that, and probably shortly after this to join that committee. I'm happy the chamber, they've asked us to be involved, so we're all looking forward to that. That learning center has been a long time in the making, and the Bezos School has already contacted us, so we're thrilled to have that connection already, and they've started registrations for their schools. So it looks like things are really kind of coming along after it seems like an eternity of building. But that project actually is exciting to see that come to completion. So, you know, we do have some things going on in Chehalis. But the one piece I want to remind everyone of is on Tuesday, March 24th, the final legislative update is going to take place. And that's with our District 20 representatives. And I'm sure it's going to be an interesting recap of everything that happened this session. That's a Zoom opportunity, and it happens at 7:30 in the morning. If you want to get the link, it's on our website on the homepage. So that should be an interesting one to tune in on and see what's going on and some of the resolutions and other pieces that they're working on that. So, and then the other thing is tomorrow, Gorham Printing is spas there at 5 o'clock. I was happy to tour that place when I interviewed them for the news release about this. Beautiful facility, a huge, great partner in this community, and they just quietly are having this huge success, and they've been around for 50 years. So anyway, we're very happy to participate in helping show them off and the new owner, and we hope to see you guys there. That's my report. Now I got another meeting to go to.
Very good, thank you. Right, any further public comment? Anybody that didn't sign in? Okay, thank you. Entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes of March 4th regular meeting.
Move to approve the minutes of the March 4th meeting.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Approval of warrants.
We have warrants, 24850 through 24876, totaling $81,028.42.
I'll make a motion to approve warrants 24850 through 24876 in the total amount of $81,028.42.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the warrant? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. And new business.
The first thing I have for you is resolution 202605 to void warrant 24796. This was issued to 4 states in the amount of $21,505.50. It was lost in the mail. We issued a warrant today to replace this one, and this warrant has been requesting approval to void it for this resolution.
I would entertain a motion to void warrant 24796.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
It's a lot of work just for a lost check. All right, we just did one last time, like, not another one.
Yeah, so it's quite an endeavor for a government agency to check, so I appreciate all the work you do that, so, yeah.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it 3-0.
The next,
Finding fact, okay.
yeah, the next time I have for you is the finding the fact and determination of advisability of sale of real property. This is for the public hearing we just had for 3621 North Park Drive. The findings of fact stated that the sale would be in furtherance of and consistent with the port's master plan, will create employment opportunities, increase tax base, and further development of Industrial Development District Number 1. Upon approval of the findings of fact, I will begin to obtain 2 separate appraisals of the property. And it gives us the opportunity to negotiate a possible sale of that piece of land.
And entertain a motion to approve the findings of fact and allow the court to pursue sale of this property.
So moved.
Second,
It's been moved and second to approve the findings of fact and approve the sale of this piece of property at what's the address?
3621.
3621 North Park Drive, yeah. Is there any discussion on this? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to discuss this? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Executive Director report.
Provided the commissioners a copy of the 6th Amendment to the Purchase and Sale Agreement with NW1W1. It's an extension for 2 weeks. It's just allowing parties more time to review and finalize an agreement. And I just wanted you guys to be aware that I signed this. I think the deadline for that is Friday, so hopefully we'll have a better agreement then.
just to let everybody know, there's been a lot of questions, sorry,
No,
about the NW1W1. That's not an acronym, that's the name of the company that we're selling the land to. And it's located in the Centralia station, Part 3, right under the 911 sign. But yeah, there's been question about that acronym being around, and it's the company name, so, yeah.
Just one small, and it's really easy to miss that. It's actually NWI W1. Even more confusing. The eyes and the ones looking.
Yeah, it looks like
It's
a one.
NWI.
thank you. I've been saying it wrong this
Just
whole
for
time.
people that are looking it up or.
Yes, yeah, okay. I also included in your packets a request received from the Western Forest Industries Museum for a letter of support for their upcoming Federal Consolidated Rail Infrastructure and Safety Improvement Grant application to restore freight rail service between Eatonville and Morton. I bring it to the commissioners and see if you guys were supportive of writing a letter of support for their grant application.
Personally, I am. I understand, I, as a grant writer, I know that like letters of support, especially from local entities, can be really valuable. And the grants that they're going for are federal grants. And so anyway, it's a hard job to get the funding for this, and I think it would be an easy thing for us to be able to do. I don't want to tax support staff, so if you would like me to write it, just a short little letter of support to show that we, we would benefit of it, but you know.
I don't have a problem with it. I just wondered how they came to us because I don't think that we're very connected to them.
Well, it's because of the connection of the rail line.
Do they have an rail line that we have?
No.
That's.
I think it's just freight rail.
Freight rail, yeah.
I don't have a problem. I think it's probably nice if we can just write a one pager and say, yeah, but now we support your efforts.
Okay.
You know, we're helping another part of the county with economic development. So anything from Marshall?
Sounds fine to me.
Prepare a letter of support for that.
Very good. Thank you.
Erin at our office here, researched and priced out 3 cell phone options as discussed at the last board meeting. The plans that she came up with, they were, Boost Mobile, track phone, and an 8x8 work app, which goes on your personal cell phone that has a separate line that dials into it. We don't have to make a decision today. If commissioners want to think more about it, we will eventually, when we go to purchase the cell phones, have to establish a cell phone policy.
I will say, the 8x8 work app, and I use it for my professional business, and it's very convenient. It acts as an entire cell phone, but it's just an app on your current phone. So you don't have to get used to another phone or carry a second phone at all. And you can set it to do not disturb. So if there's times of day where you don't want to have it ring through, that's fine. It does phone call, text message, and even video call. And so I suggested it as a research option for Erin because it's quite reasonable price. And then we're not also buying and maintaining separate devices, and carrying multiple. So, yeah, how do you guys feel about these phones? I'm really fine with any option.
I think I'd prefer if we were gonna go this route to have a separate device. Makes the most sense.
Do we just want to go with the cheaper option then of Boost?
I don't think we have to do that today. I think we can do it at the next meeting.
No?
I would like to look at it and look at those, as what the differences are.
Okay.
And I haven't.
Well, it's the same, the reason I was just saying is because it's the exact same phone.
Mhm.
The phone, it's the Galaxy A16 and it's $60 from TrackPhone and $0 from Boost. It's the same,
And a lower rate.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same phone. It's really just, for the public, we're looking at a $10 difference in the monthly,
Oh, yeah.
service fee.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, it's $10 per month for track phone and you have to pay $6 for the phone. So, anyway,
Do we have something like this written into our policy, electronic device policy?
No, we would need to create a cell phone policy because it's, since I've been here, the first time the board is ever providing a cell phone.
Mhm. If you would, yeah, if you and I would like to wait 2 weeks and just look at it and maybe answer a couple other questions.
yeah,
We've gone this long, I don't think 2 weeks will kill us.
yeah,
But I agree with Commissioner Marks. I'm a separate phone person.
Okay.
Fine. Okay, anything else?
The final thing I have for you is, we received an email from KMNT and the port was nominated again this year for the country or the Listener's Choice Award. We'll be sharing this information on our Facebook page for anyone who wants to look at this.
Okay.
All I have for you.
some, I did notify that they have some packages that you can purchase, and I'm not really interested in doing that. I think it's wonderful that they nominated us, but I don't want to spend any funding on this endeavor. Yeah.
Commissioner reports.
I attended a .09 committee meeting last week. There was 4 applications, 2 applications were not approved, didn't meet the requirements. 2 applications were approved, one was to the city of Chehalis, rather, for continued infrastructure improvements for their, water line. They've got a known bottleneck in their water line over there they've been dealing with for a long time. And so, it was approved to fund some engineering work for that, so they can then go pursue funding to get that work done. And then there was an application from Napavine, High School for their ag, and VOTEC. It's not called VOTEC anymore. I don't know what they call it now. There's a new name, I forget, but their vocational program at the high school there is, pursuing a federal grant and they needed some additional matching money and things for some design for a new, building for their vocational program for the high school. And so that was approved. So I thought those were both good projects, so happy to see those move forward. I attended a meeting today, at lunch, a brief from Jay Vanderstoop, in regards to his work around, the FRE, water retention facility, and, his involvement with the, Office of Chehalis Basin and Lewis County Flood Control Zone District, and those things. The port has been a supporter of that every year in years past, along with Port of Chehalis, City of Centralia, City of Chehalis, and so I suspect we'll see a request shortly from the Economic Alliance. They administer funds from the local municipalities that then pay the J as a consultant to work on that project for the community. So I would anticipate we'll see that shortly.
So did he say, how is it going with the retention facility? I mean, people
Yeah,
keep confusing it with the dam.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
not a dam.
There's been some recent developments. The National Fisheries and NOAA and OAA federal agencies weighed in on the retention facility. It was reported in the newspaper here, I think about 3 weeks ago. So I encourage folks to read that. Don't take my word for it. I'll paraphrase, but basically their review of the proposed project was that there wouldn't be a negative impact to the listing of Chinook salmon on the Chehalis River, which means they were looking at the project, the Chinook salmon habitat is the Chehalis River. Anytime there's a endangered or potentially endangered listed species in conjunction with the project, they review the project to make sure it wouldn't cause further listing of that species. Anyway, so there was a positive response from them in that regard to the retention facility, that they didn't think that it would further impact the Chinook salmon or I think, and I believe the orcas as well, because those two species kind of hand in hand. So that was some good news. Yeah, I think that's really the bulk of it. I think it's still working through the SEPA process. There was a draft SEPA that came out late last year, caused a little bit of confusion. And I think that's still being worked on before the final SEPA is going to be issued at a later date. And so I think, those things are kind of working their way through, but I follow that closely. Flooding is something I'm really passionate about. I've lived in this community pretty much all my life. In 1996, when I was 9 years old, our house had 3 feet of water in it. So I see all these people that get to sell their Tonka toys and Hot Wheel cars on eBay and make all the big money and stuff, and all mine got ruined when I was a kid. So flooding is something I'm really passionate about. I try to volunteer every time our community has a flood, and the work that Jay and his group and all of the people involved with trying to find a solution that both protects the community and helps fish is something that I think we should support going forward. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went on a tour of Unify with Aaron, and I invited someone from city council to come along because they didn't get to go, having a quorum and things like that. So anyway, it was really interesting to see how very efficient their operation is, as well as the amount of room they have for growth. The building is designed to have a build out of an additional 300,000 square feet. And it's also designed to basically double the amount of truck bay doors. Currently, all bay doors are on the hill side of the building, but they can open up and have bay doors fully on the other side, so they can really increase their amount of truck traffic. And I believe that we need to expect more from Unify, and that facility has a lot of room for growth that we also should be considering in our traffic planning is the growth there. Their robotics program is giving them a much more compact floor footprint. They've got a 3-acre block inside the building with all of their robotics. I don't know if you guys have seen it. So with the robotics, everything is far much tighter floor plan. In fact, there's quite a bit of dry side of the factory, or distribution side that's open and unused right now because the robotic system just condensed everything so much. The robots are about this big, and so the aisle is about this big and they can just run back and forth. And so they don't have to have the width of an aisle of, forklifts being able to go past each other or forklifts turning around. So it's just far more compact, and elevator systems for the robot. So anyway, that kind of led me to the thought that, we are going to run as we go forward with more robotics. We're going to run the risk of, the current model, and that the city's using and a lot of entities are going for right now of square footage equals trucks. And that is becoming far and far less of an accurate system of measurement, especially with the robotics, because it just condenses so much. I mean, you can imagine, so their robotic system can load a truck in an hour. And they've got three, they call them cells, 3 lines basically so they can load 3 trucks in an hour and they can unload 2 trucks. And now, less confident on that out on the inbound, but definitely the outbound, they can do 3 trucks an hour in 3 acres of space. So if we had a distribution center join our complex and they were that, and they were just robotics, not only are we having loss of staff, but, we have a lot smaller square foot to be able to fill trucks faster in and out, which is interesting that, that the technology is changing. We talk a lot about, protecting the traffic corridor of Harrison, and with, the moratorium and everything like that. I just think it's really interesting. I almost would encourage, you can't go together, but, maybe go and take a look at robotics and see. They were great to do a tour, and I know you've already done tours, so maybe just maybe a short little tour of just what the robotics can do, and just get a size and scale of what this looks like. He did say that they have some good videos online, that are published that you can see. It's just some videos of how their robotic system works, not theirs, but the company that runs it. Symbiote is the company. I'll send it to you so you can send out some videos of what they're doing. Theirs is proprietary there, but they've got advertisements and videos online, so you can kind of see just how compact these systems are and how efficient they are. Yeah. So anyway, that was a really interesting tour. While there, it was interesting to learn that from the staff that the top complaints of the truck drivers is the traffic on Harrison. That is their truck drivers' top complaint is the traffic on Harrison. And the second complaint is the distance to the next truck stops, because we've got the truck stop at the Pilot gas station, and then we've got Love's gas station, and those are a good distance for them to have to get to when they're on their time scale, right? Because they have, Washington State has laws about how long a truck can be on the road and then how long they have to pause and rest and take a break. And so it can be tight turnaround for them to be arriving here, dropping off their load and getting to a truck stop, or having to take their break before coming there. And so there's some tight deadlines for them in that. But yeah, I just thought it was really interesting that they also are complaining about the truck traffic. And the last thing I want to bring up, I've really been, it's been heavy on my heart. I've been weighing like, when and how do I talk about this? And I just can't not talk about this. I'm really disturbed by the current legal strategy that we have in dealing with the city. And I know we have active litigation. I'm not going to touch that, but I'm going to speak to the broader program and the broader system of what we're doing right now. The port has had a stance of continuing to appeal CEPAs on this Harrison, and continuing to put legal pressure on the city to try to get a policy change out of the city. And I know that is I believe that that's ineffective. I feel like it's a waste of money. And I think that we need to reconsider and or take it to the citizens and have a broader perspective about whether or not this is something that the port should be spending our money on. I know in the past, Martian, you've said that it's worth the expense to protect the traffic corridor. Peter, you also have agreed and continued to vote in favor of continuing this path of constant appeals and, continued legal
Can I
pressure.
interject this one small thing, just briefly?
No.
Okay.
I'm sick of being interrupted by you.
Okay, I'll go
You
with
can
that.
go, sorry. So I feel like this is the wrong thing for us to be doing. And I would love to hear what the citizens have to say about this, because we are supposed to be representing the citizens. And this has been something that's been behind the scenes happening for a long time. And I don't think that our citizens are really fully aware of what it is and that this is our plan and our strategy. And that when we fail a SEPA appeal, we just keep going. When does it end?
Commissioner.
Your assertion that we've continued to appeal SEPAs on Harrison is incorrect. We have appealed one SEPA on one project on Harrison. So I do take exception a little bit to your assertion, or you're trying to tell this story of like we've continued to do this same action over and over. That's not true. We have one SEPA appeal, active SEPA appeal with the city. This has been the first one of its kind. We have provided comments on many SEPAs prior to this one in the same vein of the appeal that we have filed. I think one thing that's important to note is that there's things that we confer with legal counsel on that is an executive session due, to this litigation. And your attempt to try to bring the public into that, I feel is a little disingenuous, because you understand the privilege of executive session and that there are things that this commission is briefed on by our legal counsel that isn't and can't be public knowledge. And so using that as kind of a tool to achieve what you're trying to achieve, I think is interesting. But we have received clear legal guidance on this from the port's legal counsel, who is an expert in this arena. And I very much trust the guidance that they have given us. And I'm looking forward to seeing this resolved, and I think we're going to get there.
You're right. It's been appeals, but it is still a great expense for our legal counsel to review, prepare these complaint letters. And again, like, it is just a continued barrage against the city to get a policy change. And I understand, I kind of knew that this is where like you would take offense that I'm on the edge of what is privileged in public.
I don't take offense to you being on the edge. I understand your perspective and that you want to see a change. What I'm saying is wanting to bring the public into it is a little disingenuous, in that we can't share all the legal advice we've gotten from our attorney with the public. And so to want to bring, it's like you want to bring the public along as an equal partner to the information we have is not possible. And so, skirt the line, that's fine. But we are elected by the public to represent their interests in the port. And we've received clear legal guidance on this matter. And again, I stick by my, there are things worth fighting for and things worth paying for. And I believe this is one of them. You're right. The port would like to see a policy change. And I'm hoping that at some point in the near future, we'll get there.
So my intent is not to bring the public into this litigation. My intent is that at some point, we need to look to the public and include them in the broader plan that we have to continue to force the city and to continue to utilize for funds for legal fees. I've reported before, I haven't asked Amy for an update. The last time I reported, we're over $50,000 on just one of these. So how much money is too much money, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about this particular case, like I get that, I'm leaving that alone. I'm just saying, as a broader scope, if we did an assessment of how much money in all of these years that this has been going on, how much money have we spent on this attempt to force the city and to strong arm the city into a policy change?
I mean, the funds that have been spent prior to this appeal have been just our council providing comment letters, which every public entity does on projects in their jurisdiction. So I mean, that's not, we would continue to do that going forward, whether we agree or not with the city. We'll provide public comment or provide comments on SEPA for various things and different reasons. So, that's just general practice. The city does that, the county does that, all the boards do that. That's not something in the past that's happened that's exceptional or a special case. This SEPA appeal is new. And again, I stand by that sometimes there's things worth fighting for and spending money on. You mentioned all the SEPA comments the port has made that has given the city many, many years of a heads up that this is an issue that we would like to see resolved. And there hadn't been any movement at all. There hadn't been any acknowledgement at all. There hadn't been any talking about this large issue that the port has had with the way that this has been handled. We're now having those conversations, and I think that's a really good thing. And I think we're headed in the right direction because of this SEPA appeal. So I will stand by our decision to continue on with the SEPA appeal. And I am confident that the community will thank us in the end and be thankful for how traffic is handled in this community in the future. You talked about the UNFI truck drivers being unhappy with the level of traffic on Harrison. There are many things in the past that could have been done to continue to improve our traffic corridors that weren't done because the processes aren't in place to do those things. We're left to grovel to the state legislature or to the federal government for funding to fix traffic in our community when there could be a mechanism in place that we could fund that through development in the community. But we don't have those mechanisms in place today. So again, I hope that, and it looks like we are heading in that direction, that we can then deal with these as a community and improve our roads for everybody.
I am not suggesting that those improvements don't need to happen or that those policies don't need to change. I am suggesting that the method is ineffective, expensive, and wrong. I don't see how this is right in any way. I cannot see how this is right.
So do you have a suggestion for a different method to change these policies?
Roll over and trust that the city is going to do the right thing, which they've had many years and many opportunity to adjust their policies and haven't. So in the real world, when adults come together and things aren't happening, there's legal channels at which we can pursue the interest of the organizations we represent, and that is where we are today. It's just a fact of how we all have to do business. We're not seeing eye to eye. We have this mechanism to deploy, and at some point we're going to get to a place where somebody will prevail and we will move into the future with better policies in place.
Thank you for that. Intending that we roll over and trust the city, but find a solution through collaboration, right? We have spent so much time, energy, and effort on this. We need to meet with the city. We need to collaborate with the city, right? And getting together and getting in a room with a whiteboard, as you like to say, right? And as far as this, you always talk about this idea that like, this is how grown-ups behave. I'm a grown-up too, and I've never had to sue the city. I've never had to.
We're not suing the city. We've appealed to SEPA.
Okay.
Big difference.
I've never had to use litigation as a means to strong arm someone. And I get that that's like, I'm using them as like the term loosely is doing, but the continued use of litigation to strong arm someone, that is one tactic that grown-ups can use, but also collaboration is another one.
Well, you're new to the commission. Collaboration has been attempted many, many times. I can appreciate your optimism. Okay? I can see that as a new commissioner, that you're optimistic that everybody can just sit in a room and hash it all out. I can tell you that that has been tried. I've been on this commission for a number of years now, and I've worked very hard to build bridges and to collaborate and to work together. But at some point, when you don't have forward progress on something that is very meaningful, you have to take action, and that's where we're at.
Wait, we are working on it. There was a group with the city, and Amy, and the county, and
Well,
we're
that's
talking about
specific.
these issues.
But that's specific to the moratorium. That's not specific to the board's legal strategy of continuing to strong arm the city.
Well,
Those are two separate issues.
I
It's all
take exception to
intertwined.
you saying we're continually strong arming the city. We are not. We have appealed one SEPA that was not done correctly, that we would like to see fixed and policy changed. That's what we're doing. We're not strong arming anybody.
yeah, changing that policy will set a policy going into the future that we can all live with. So, no, thank you for bringing that up. Anything else?
Yeah, we're
Okay,
gonna shift
keep going.
gears. This is the jarring shifting gears. The Barn Bureau is hosting a barn bash this Saturday from 4 to 6 at the Red Barn, and that's 207 Goff Road, Chehalis. And they're a great organization, and they are a big part of our community. And so I just would encourage anyone who wants to come on out, and that's again Saturday the 25th, Saturday the 21st, 4 to 7 at the Red Barn in Chehalis.
Okay. I attended the last city council meeting, and I did stand up and talk for us and just put our advertisement out that we have a position open so that people knew to try and get it out in a little broader spectrum. Also, this is not really related to us, but it's related to the local community. I was at a meeting last night with the Lewis County Historical Society, and the people that take care of the Salzer Valley School are asking for help. I don't know if anybody's been out Salzer Valley lately, but the little bridge that goes to their school is collapsing, and they're, it's a group of older people and they're not really able to maintain it. The historic structure like they should. So I'm just putting that out there. I told lady, send me a note. We'll see what we can do. See how we can figure it out. Also, as you brought up, Saturday is Washington Patriotic Day. It used to be called Massing of the Colors with the military. It will be held at DuPont School. It's an annual event, and all the VFWs and DAs and all the organizations come. They have a few speeches, about the day. And that will be from 2 to 4 p.m. on Saturday at DuPont School. And kind of a fun event to see who shows up, and that, I think that's about it for me. So, anything else? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. 2-0.
Aye.
2-1 or 3-1, 3-0. Okay, sorry.